Okay, so you've read the title, and I'm gonna rank every season of Daredevil. This includes Daredevil seasons 1 through 3 of the Netflix show, and Daredevil Born Again season 1 2. Personally, I, even including Born Again, think Daredevil is the greatest comic book show of all time, and it's not really that close. So you're gonna basically, this may be one of my only videos where, actually, it won't be, but I'm gonna praise basically everything in this, because I think Daredevil is a relatively perfect show. Anyways, let's just start off with number 5, and you know what it is. Even if you don't like season 2 of Daredevil, it's Daredevil Born Again season 1. I won't say it's by far the worst. Because I think it's the 4th place isn't like that much better. It's a good amount better, but not that much. But I will say Daredevil Born Again season 1 is the worst season. Yeah, and it's pretty definitive. The episode average for me is the lowest. You know, if you just go off individual episode quality, this one would place in last. That's not a sentence. This one would place in last. Now, episode quality doesn't mean anything. Currently, my one with the highest episode ranking in, like, quality is not my number 1. You know? They don't translate, is what I'm trying to say. But overall, I still really like this season. I'm a huge defender of this season. Now, I think I originally gave it like a 9.3 or 9.4. Bit too absurd there. I think it's about a 9, which, that's really great in my eyes. I think if it's like an 8.9 or a 9 out of 10. I still love this season, you know? Like, all my praises, like, and the reason why it's lower down is not that I think it's become worse over time. Maybe it's become slightly worse over time. But it's more that I've just become a little bit stricter in how high my ratings are. But yeah, like, honestly, I think this season's still pretty rock solid. Actually, that's not true. I guess I can start with negative. The Muse plot line. And honestly, the Muse plot line is only negatives at the end. I think the first 6 episodes handled Muse excellently and had him set up to be one of the greatest comic book villains of all time if they, expanded on him. But the problem was that they, gave Muse a personality. Muse does not need personality. I mean, like, you already got rid of his supernatural abilities, so I guess maybe characterizing him was the next best thing. But it didn't work here. Making some bratty rich kid who learned Taekwondo was just kind of boring. And, he just died. I mean, everyone thought that he would be the main villain. Where, like, from the consensus that I got, is that people were like, oh yeah, he's gonna be the main villain, and Daredevil and Kingpin are gonna have to actually team up with their powers to beat him. No, they didn't. Heather just shot him, which led to a kind of annoying line, and, really annoying line in the next episode where she's like, Daredevil didn't save me, I saved myself. It was like her We Are the Flash moment. But Heather becomes a much better character in season 2. I will say that the bank heist episode, I did really like it. I think it's an 8 out of 10, I gave a reference to this when I talked about Herm. This is the Herm of Born Again. Or actually, the Herm is this of Invincible Season 4. And what I mean by that is it's relatively, it's basically filler, except it's slightly develops your main character's story. Like, as much as people are like, Herm develops Mark so much. No, it doesn't. It's just a little nudge to the end, which is exactly what this episode is. This is the last nudge till Matt becomes Daredevil again. Just as that episode was, Herm was the end of the Blue Suit arc, So both are essentially filler, except they have just slight bits of character development that, yes, is most definitely skippable, but it's not filler by technicality. Except this episode is actually a well-written and enjoyable episode to watch, unlike Herm. But something it does have in common with Herm is that it completely, actually more like Motendo from X-Men 97, is that it completely tanks the season's structure. I think it's just a terrible idea to have a blank, a filler episode. I'm gonna call it a filler episode, but it's more a bottle episode. To have a bottle episode as your middle season, like having a bottle episode in Daredevil when it was 13 episodes long. Okay, I'm okay with that. Having it when you're 9 episodes long, I think there's a little less of a justification for that. Because 9 episodes is a really tight season of television. Even if your episodes are an hour long, it's still going to be pretty tightly compact in there. Because you don't have a lot of time per episode. Well, you may say, well, something like Avatar: Last Airbender had less time than if you were to get 8 episodes that are an hour long. Yeah, you're right. But you're not counting for the fact that each one of those Avatar episodes had a different story. If you compacted all those 3 Avatar episodes into one story, then I would have the same problem. But I don't, because they spread it out through different stories, which is why I think seasons should at minimum be 10. I mean, sometimes it works. And Loki season 2, I think, is relatively perfect. I keep on saying the word relatively. Anyways, I think it's a perfect season of television. That's only 6 episodes, but it knew what to do with its writing. This is not praise for Loki season 2. Anyways, with interest, episode 5 and episode 7, Art for Art's sake, are the 2 worst episodes in the show, surpassing Kinbatu from season 2. But like I said, there's still great episodes. Daredevil has no bad. Daredevil has no good. It's only great, in my opinion. But let's just talk about the good of the season, because I think there's a good, quick thing on the bad. Matt's cast, not good. Season 2, it's actually kind of great. A lot of the characters are more developed, and we get good characters like Karen, Bullseye, and Jessica. So, we're good on that in season 2. But in season 1, Heather is a fine therapist. I really like her as the Fist therapist. I think that's good. Her as Matt's girlfriend, we don't like. And especially towards the end, she just starts getting worse and worse. Cherry is just as bad. Like, I think they're all top 5 worst characters in the show until season 2. But, yeah, honestly, it's just Matt's cast is really weak. And you're kind of just only watching for Matt. Anyways, let's get into the positives, which there's a lot. Like I said, this is a really great season of television. If you take this and just put it normally, I would say people would be like, yeah, this is one of the best, or one of the better seasons of any comic book show ever, you know? And I think there's a good reason for it. Also, number one, Optics is one of the more forgettable episodes, but again, it's still a great episode that I would watch again. Now let's get into the really good ones. I guess if I had to rank, Heaven's Half Hour and Six Semper. I honestly, I forgot the name. It's a really hard title to memorize. Those 2 episodes are both like 8.8 or 8.9s. I think Heaven's Half Hour enters with that amazing scene, which, while killing Foggy off is a rough decision for this season, I think down the line, it overall turns out to be a neutral change. But anyways, that episode was such a good introduction to the season, and the Punisher conversation in episode 4 was one of the best scenes in Daredevil, you know. Episode 3, Hollow of His Hand, the Trial of White Tiger, was another really great episode. And episode 6 is a slept-on one. I think that episode was amazing, seeing Matt and Muse and Adam and Fist. I think it was all so great. It felt like just a bunch of stuff that had been building up throughout this season, all coming together, and it looks so good. And honestly, I would have rated the season maybe like an 8 if it weren't for the last 2 episodes. Because, while sure, we've just had an amalgamation of some good episodes and some little bit of continuity, episode 8 is what makes me go from, I have no clue how we're ending in season 2, I see their vision. It turned like when people say it's a Frankenstein of a project, I only get that for episodes 1 through 7. Episode 8 and 9, I think, completely fixed that problem for the season. You get a clear story, you get a clear path, it makes sense, and you also just get 2 incredible episodes of television. So overall, I think Daredevil Born Again, I've yapped for it a while, I think it's a pretty fantastic, not fantastic, I think it's a really great season of television. And this may honestly be the one that I talked about the most, because I feel like it's the one that you have to justify the most for your likeness of. Anyways, then number 4 is another pretty obvious one, Daredevil Season 2. Okay. I'm on rewatch of Daredevil right now, and those first 4, I just finished those first 4 episodes of Season 2. Sometimes you forget how truly amazing those are. Penny and Dime and New York's Finest are 2 pitch-perfect episodes. I think they are some of the best out of any comic book show ever. While Bang and Dogs in the Water are not as good, they're still fantastic episodes, a 9.3 and 9.4 respectively. I should have swapped that. Bang's 9.4. Actually, you'll figure it out later. Yeah. Honestly, they're both great episodes. They're fantastic episodes. My problem is we get to Kinbatsu. Kinbatsu is, let's just say, rough for Daredevil. For the original series, I think is a good amount the worst episode of the series by, 0.3 points. I never liked Elektra, nor did I ever like Stick or Nobu and just the hand plot in general. I hate how it takes us away from this generally perfect Punisher plot. I think everything with the Punisher is perfect. Honestly, if we just had a little mini season for those first 4 episodes, sure you need to tie up some things with the DA. But honestly, I think that would be a perfect season of television. The Punisher stuff is more interesting than season 1, and it's some of the best stuff we see in the show, just for us to get to the Hand. And, Matt, we just set up one of the most interesting dynamics in the entire MCU with Matt and Punisher. So, what do we decide to do this season? Is it A, have that amazing dynamic fleshed out more and there more? Or is it B, throw Matt in some what feels like a subplot, but is more or less the main plot of the story to set up Defenders with a bunch of mid-characters? You would think A, but for some reason, they chose B. Honestly, if I were to say something, I think this season would be so much better if you merge this season and the Muse plot, brought them together and made it one. Because honestly, I think instead of having the Hand, which is a completely unrelated thing from the Punisher, have Muse, a serial killing vigilante that the Punisher is hunting after, and Daredevil to stop him, and the trial and all that can happen, and it gives you a really interesting threat that Matt can deal with while you're doing the trial of the Punisher, and yeah, you're all good. Now, and it's also, if you want to say more mystical threat, he's supernatural, he has superpowers, the show just didn't adapt it. So honestly, I think that would have been a miles better of a season. But, don't get me wrong, this is a fantastic season of television. Like I said, the Punisher stuff is pure perfection. The 3 main episodes that focus on him are, the 3, big episodes, Penny and Dime, New York's Finest, and 7 Minutes in Heaven, are perfect. I give them all 10 out of 10s. And, and as much as people hate on Fisk, Man in the Box is an amazing episode. Also, by hate on Fisk, I mean that he appears too much. No one should be hating on, and even that I disagree with. But anyways, Man in the Box is a fantastic episode. Guilty as Sin is another fantastic episode, and it was the best trial in Daredevil, which isn't saying much. Because there's only been 3 or 4. But it was the best trial in Daredevil till, in my opinion, the newest season. And honestly, it was just so good. It was just so good. And then you get the Hand stuff. I don't like I said, I don't like Elektra, Stick, or Nobu. So we're in a plot where the only good character is Matt. And to be fair, Matt's an excellent character, but he can't carry a storyline. I honestly, while sure it came to an excellent climax, I think A Cold Day in Hell's Kitchen is one of the show's best. But I still have still have issues with the fact that I don't care. Other than, like I said, in The Cold Day in Hell's Kitchen, this Hand plot is boring and is just far worse than Punisher stuff. And even in The Cold Day in Hell's Kitchen, I would rather have a Punisher finale. So as much as I'm complaining, it's really just that we have one plot line that is truly spectacular, the one plot line that is just pretty good. Like, even though I would say it's worse than the Muse storyline, because the Muse storyline at least had, like, most of it be fantastic and just had disappointing, and it's actually the opposite for the Hand. Most of it was subpar for Daredevil, but had an excellent end. Which, like I said, as I'm saying that it's bad, bad is the Hand plot, it's not. It's still good. And honestly, if you made it a whole season, let's ignore the Defenders real quick. That show, was not good. But if you just, like, take it out of context and, like, make a story about it, get rid of the Punisher stuff and make a Hand story with Matt, Elektra, and the Hand stuff, people, guess what? You have a good season of television. Because the Hand stuff is still good, it's just so much worse than the Punisher stuff. So I don't care, you know? But, anyways, I'm going to give a season like a 9.4 out of 10. Maybe 9.5. Honestly, here's one statement that I will die on. Other than Born Again, no season of Invincible, of any show like an Invincible, The Flash, Arrow, all most of never mind. Like some like elite comic book shows, like Invincible. Here's my hot take: every season of Daredevil, other than Born Again, is better than is better than Invincible's best. If you take, the closest one is Invincible season 4 to Daredevil season 2. I would say they're both about 9.4s, 9.5s. But, that's just my hot take, Anyways, let's go to number 3. And here's where we get to real hot takes. Because currently, and honestly, these two are flip-floppable, my 3 and 2. Currently, I have Daredevil season 1 at my number 3 spot, which seems insane, because that season is perfect. I think my average for it's like a 9.2. I think like if you look at my series graph, which is something where you can just rate episodes on and it'll show you in a graph, I think it's once every 2 episodes it goes fantastic episode, 2 great episodes, fantastic episode, great episode, fantastic, spectacular. Honestly, I love so much of this season. Sure, Stick was a bit of a miss, but even then, because it progressed the storyline so well, it's not like a Kenbatsu or a Art for Art's Sake or With Interest. Sure, it's one of the lesser episodes of the show, probably my 4th least favorite, if we're counting Born Again too. It still works to progress the season. Now, could they have done a more interesting plotline? Absolutely. Like I said, I don't like Stick. I think the only time Stick was actually a great character is when, he was at the bench with young Murdoch when he teaches him. Why did I say his last name? When he's teaching him his powers and he's like, there's a big world out there. There's a whole world out there, and it's huge. I think that was just a great scene, and that's where he is at his best. And coincidentally, you know this now, the best season of Daredevil, or the original series, is the one without Stick. Let that sink in. Anyways. Yeah, honestly, the premiere, I used to sleep on this premiere. I made a poll, what's the best premiere between Legion, Loki, and Invincible? Or was it Jessica Jones? I can't remember. And then Daredevil season 1. And, I put it in last. I've changed my mind on a rewatch. On a rewatch, I'm like, wow. How did I miss all this? To be fair, I was playing pool for half the time while I was watching Daredevil episode 1. I know. I stopped literally halfway through because I was locked in. But, that premiere is excellent. But honestly, the episode that just... Actually, not excellent. It's a fantastic premiere. It's a 9 out of 10. But the episode that truly just locked me in on a story. You can have a fantastically brilliant premiere, but that doesn't mean everything. I have not seen Pluribus, but Pluribus has, an insanely high premiere. then, like, a bunch of the other episodes are a lot lower rated. If you have seen Pluribus, comment your opinion, because I really want to watch that show. I hear it's an excellent show. Actually, I hear it's a great show, not an excellent show. I think it has potential to be an excellent show based off what I've heard. We're not talking about Pluribus. Anyways, but I think the episode that locks me in was Cut Man. It is a spectacular, it's an amazing episode. I'm gonna refrain from the word spectacular. It is an amazing episode of television. And Rapid Snowstorm, really overhated. I think it's a great episode. In the Blood, great episode. World on Fire, fantastic episode. Condemned, amazing episode. Stick, like I said, great episode, but one of the worst of Daredevil. Shadow and Glass is truly an incredible episode showing us Fifth's past, and it's one of the reasons why he's arguably the greatest comic book villain of all time. Speak of the Devil is almost perfect. I mean, there's a couple nitpicky flaws I have with it, but it is near perfection. Nelson v. Murdoch is a beautiful episode showing us Matt and Foggy's relationship in the present and in the past when they first met. It was amazing. What's the next episode? I think it's The Path of the Righteous, where Karen kills Wesley. Such a great episode. And then The Ones We Leave Behind, I think, is the penultimate episode. Fantastic episode. And then I think the finale is I said it again, relatively. I think it's a perfect episode. Like, I think this is such, like, even, like, I think, like, season 3 of Daredevil is maybe the only one that has a better and more clear story. Like, even though, like, Daredevil Born Again Season 2, even though it's higher, I do think it has a less clear and less defined story, you know? This season just has such a clear story, and, like, it fleshed out this world so well. I mean, like, it's just so good. Like, these characters are all perfectly cast, they're all amazingly written. Like, Vanessa, and the side characters like Vanessa, Fisk, Mahoney. Wait, did I say Fisk? I meant Ben Urich. Ben Urich, my goat. Anyways, they're all so good. Personally, and the main characters, of course, Karen is one of the best female characters in the entire MCU, and is an amazing deuteragonist. You know, when people are like, okay, now they're Invincible comparison, I know, but like when people make the short tours like Daredevil versus Invincible, then do Deuteronomist, and it's like Nolan, not even close. I disagree. I mean, maybe eventually Nolan becomes not even close, but now, I think Nolan and Karen Page, not the biggest, I won't say it's a toss-up, but it's not a clear win for Nolan. Like, if you said Karen Page a better character, we may be talking, you know? Like, that, I think Karen Page, if you say she's, like, top 5, top 6 characters in the show, like, the only ones I can think of better would be, like, Bullseye, Kingpin, Daredevil, or Matt himself, Foggy, and maybe Ray Nadeem. But even then, maybe not Ray Nadeem, because he didn't get enough screen time. He was only in, like, 12 episodes before he died, you know? My goat, Ray Nadeem. Anyways, also, I could be missing characters, like, but Karen is such a fantastic character. I love Karen so much. Anyways, at my number 2 spot is probably what you suspected, Daredevil Born Again Season 2. Why I say it's floppable with Season 1 is, like I said, that I do believe that it has a worse plot, or, like, it has a worse storyline. It's worsely connected. Not too much. I think it's like, for 8 episodes, like I said, you're going to need to be very tightly written to get everything you want across. And by episode 7, it was one where it's like, you know, I think this was an excellent season of television. I think this was written so well. Like, I'm trying to do, like, a string, like a plot, if you get what I mean. But the finale is really just what tied it together and made it so excellent. You know, I think it brought some of the loose plot threads all together. I mean, like, yeah, honestly, like, also, I think Daredevil Season 1 is a perfect season television, 10 out of 10. I just wanted to establish that real quick. But the reason why I decided to put it above Daredevil Season 1 is that I think, A, it has higher highs. Gloves Off and The Southern Cross, the finale, are both better and the grand design is arguably better than the best episode of Daredevil Season 1, which is Daredevil, the finale. But I will say that it also has a way higher average. Like, I think this is the season with the highest average. Now, I will say, by the time I get to my Season 3 rewatch, that's most likely changing, because I promise you some ratings from that season are going up for me. But honestly, that's mainly the reason why I put it above here. If you told me to watch some episodes, like, the worst episode is better. Like, I think the worst episode is an 8.7. You know how insanely good that is? Like, I made an Invincible tier list. Let me get it in a second. Whoop, I'm back. Invincible tier list. I have it on paper. 8.7 is my 18th slot. Out of a 32 episodes, that's nearly halfway through. The worst episode this season is equivalent, honestly, maybe even better than, like, it would land on the 18th slot. The worst episode from this season. Shoot the Moon. It's still a really great episode, and that's not supposed to be diss on Invincible. 8.7 is a great score, and the fact that you have 17 higher than that is crazy. I'm just, especially since you only have 32 episodes, I'm just saying Daredevil is in a league of its own. Anyways, I did I'm not getting, other than Shoot the Moon, every other episode is a 9.3 or higher. I think the premiere is a 9.3. I think Skeleton Swords is 9.6. I think, like I said, Gloves, Awesome Grand Designs are 2 10 out of 10s. Requiem's a 9.9. What's it called? The Hateful Darkness, or the whatever it's called. That's a 9.8, and the finale is a 10 out of 10. Like, you're getting high score, which is why it's above Daredevil Season 1. Is that it just has a higher consistency of how good the episodes are. It has better episodes. And let's talk about set episodes. Okay. Remember when everyone's like, oh my god, those first 3 episodes were insane. I changed my mind. I changed my mind. Those episodes just, on a rewatch. By the way, I've rewatched about the entire season. Only episode 4 and the finale I've not rewatched. But, on rewatch, I'm like, those first 2 episodes are child's play compared to even the next one. But they're still fantastic. I mean, it's still so good. Scales and Swords is an amazingly written episode, especially with, the trial of Jack Duquesne. And, of course, the fight scene at the end was awesome. There's so much greatness in there. Gloves Off is... Remember when people were like, oh, it's one of the best of the series? Yeah, because it is. It is a truly spectacular episode. Not even just for the very end where Vanessa dies. Yes, that's an insane perfection of last 5 to 7 minutes. But, the bullseye stuff in that episode, even with Matt, all of it was just so good. And then episode 5, my goat, Foggy Nelson, is back. And to see him basically teach Matt a lesson from beyond the grave, as him and Fisk both reflect on their previous life choices based on the events that are going on right now, is just so good. And even the Matt and Bullseye stuff is perfection. And the Fisk and Vanessa stuff, oh my god. I'm gonna talk about acting. I'll talk about it in a bit. Oh yeah. And, there's just, I think the only flaw is that, the Daniel and Buck stuff, wow, it's still good. It's just paled in comparison to everything else. Requiem, I guess, my thing in that Jessica Jones was a little bit underutilized, still stands a bit, but I think is a fantastic episode. And on rewatch especially, I think the stuff with Daniel Blake and his past, or not his past, but seeing his life outside of being a corrupt Fisk official, it works really well to get you more sympathetic for when Buck kills him the next episode. Which, oh my god, that ending scene in the next episode with Matt praying and then Buck killing Daniel, so perfect. And then, of course, the Southern Cross, I just made a 20-minute review on it. I'm not going to go over that again. It is a truly spectacular episode. I mean, I've seen people say it's the best episode of the entire show. I disagree with that. I think, some episodes from Daredevil Season 3 and, maybe Penny Diamond, New York's Finest are better, but it's still truly truly a perfect ending. And Matt revealing he was Daredevil was just so peak. It was so good. And I love it. Every ounce of it, I love it. And now I get the problems, like pacing issues. Yes. The show does kind of have to move a mile a minute because of the 8-episode runtime. A 10 to 13 episode runtime would be much better, in my opinion. But honestly, I think the show is well written enough and moves quick enough that it worked. I think it most definitely worked. Now, do I wish that season 3 will be longer, even though I know it's not? But yes, I do wish that season 3, and I really hope, because you can definitely stretch out everything that I think they're going to do into 13 episodes, you know? So I think they should make it 13 episodes, like the original series, because I just think that's just going to be what's best. Anyways, one last little thing I want to say. Actually, maybe not one last. The acting. Okay. Is this crazy to say that this is everyone's best performance? Like, the main guys. Like, sure, like, some of the side characters, like Heather, this is her best performance. Buck or Daniel or BB, it's their best performance. But we don't, like, sure, they're all really great side characters, but do we care? No. Also, oh my god, Mr. Charles with Matthew Lillard is an amazing character. I love him so much. But anyways, back to acting. Which also Matthew Lillard does an amazing job in the role. Okay, who plays Vanessa? I knew her name. Ayelet. I'm sorry, I forgot her name. And that's feels so sad. Whoever plays Vanessa, chef's kiss, you did an amazing job. But the big three that I'm going to talk about is, of course, let's just get it out of the way. Deborah Ann Wool. She's given such a good performance this episode. Honestly, this entire season, specifically episode 3, when she's yelling at Matt, telling him why did she not just let him kill Bullseye, and that he can just step out of the room and his conscience is clear here, and everything. Oh my god, and the scene with her and Fisk and her and Heather, and the episode. Karen this season is perfect. I love Karen in the season. Maybe she deserved a bit more screen time, but honestly, I don't think so. I think she's fine the way she is. And personally, I'm just blown away with how good Deborah Ann Wool's acting is. I was about to say Matthew Murdock. Charlie Cox is Matthew Murdock. I mean, he was top 15 comic book casting of all time. He's top 10 now. Oh my god, he's so perfect in the role. Especially in that last episode, he did so well. He's so good in the role, and I love it. And I love him as Matt Murdock. I love Matt Murdock's development and Daredevil's development this season. It's just so perfect. And honestly, I almost forgot about Wilson Bethel. Not only did he do an amazing job in the role, giving us some of the best Bullseye stuff, maybe just, not even some of, maybe just the best Bullseye stuff we've seen in the show. But he just did such a good job, and I'm so glad Bullseye's getting the appreciation he's always deserved. Bullseye, ever since season 3, like, I'm gonna be so honest, ever since season 3, Bullseye has deserved to be in the consideration for top 5 MCU villains, you know? He's been perfect since season 3 of Daredevil. Season 1 boosted up a little bit because of what he did and how he was. And then this season finally got people's recognition that this guy is not just top 5, arguably top 3. Some people's number 1. He's not my number 1. Thanos or Fisk has that one. But God, is he a truly amazing villain. Bullseye's one of the best comic book villains of all time. And, like, oh my god, Wilson Bethel does an amazing job. I love him. I love it. And Wilson Fisk. Vincent D'Onofrio. I don't know what was going on with him this season, but he did it. He whatever I thought Vincent D'Onofrio's best Kingpin was, he surpassed it 10 times over. Oh my god. Of course, some of the, like, reaction he does, like, when he just is like, why'd you do this? For love. Ha! Like, that was just so funny because of how he did it. Oh my god, his silent acting till the very end in episode 6 is truly something else. And him saying boo, then just punching someone to death was insane. Which also, I have heard a critique that, how is he so strong? My guy, he broke a wall with his punch. With one punch, he broke a wall in Daredevil, in the original series. So, where's your critique there? I'm sorry, I don't get it. Dude's strong. Dude's a strong dude. Also, we're in a world with self-reviving ninjas. Is this really that absurd? Anyways, sorry, I hate the critique of how they're watering down Wilson Fisk, because they aren't. Oh my god, his acting in episode 5 where he sees Vanessa's death, and episode 4 is just truly incredible, and episode 8, he's incredible in this entire season. I love him. Oh my god, and his cast, I loved his cast in season 1. I thought Sheila was a really underrated character. Buck worse Wesley, but still really good. And I liked Daniel. All of them just got enhanced. Buck went from just slightly worse than Wesley. Honestly, he's great. And Sheila, I'm still liking her. Blake, or Daniel, still great. I mean, I just love it all. And truly, I think this season is a 10 out of 10. One of the best seasons of comic book television ever. Okay. Our number 1, as I just said, that Daredevil Born Again Season 2 is one of the best. This one may be the best. Daredevil Season 3 is one of 2 seasons of comic book television that I am comfortable saying is a masterpiece. I use the word masterpiece a bit different from perfect. You can get a 10 out of 10, but not be a masterpiece in my eyes. But you're not, if you're a masterpiece, you're a 10 out of 10. It's like that if you're a square, you're a rectangle, but if you're a rectangle, you're not a square, you know? And this season was so perfect. On a rewatch, I only gave the first 3 episodes, all 8.8s. That's probably going to change on rewatch. People love Resurrection enough to have the gall to call it the best episode in the show. So I cannot wait to get past the hand plot and get to season 3. Because I know how good it's going to be, and I know... generally, when I was watching season 3, I was, when people say that you can't describe how good season 3 is, I don't think that's out of laziness. I think it's out of fact. If you told me to say everything about season 3, I'd be here for an hour. For hours. Because that is just how peak this season is. Oh my god. Like I said, literally, I was like, okay, I can't describe how I feel after episode 4 of the season. Just kept on, even though I know the episodes aren't getting better, I don't think The Perfect Game is better than Blindsided, because Blindsided is one of the very few episodes of television that I'm willing and certain to call a masterpiece. Now, to be fair, I need to watch some better shows. Maybe a Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad, Dark, Mr. Robot. But, generally, I think Blindsided is just a masterpiece through and through. Devil, masterpiece. A New Napkin, maybe the greatest series finale I've ever seen, is a masterpiece. And I don't use that word lightly. Like I said, I think I have called one thing ever on this channel a masterpiece. And that is, actually, maybe officially 3 things. Loki Season 2, Daredevil Season 3, and Knives Out. Well, I do think there's more masterpieces out there, like an Interstellar, and of course things I haven't seen. But, it's hard. For me, you'll get 10 out of 10 sometimes. Not all the time, but a good amount of times you'll get 10 out of 10 from me. Masterpiece, never. You are very unlikely to get masterpiece from me, and Daredevil Season 3 gets that easily. I think it is so good. So good. Oh my god. Every episode, even though if it's not better, it is insane. It builds on season 1. It just builds on this utterly perfect season. Even with the episodes, honestly, they're relatively perfect. Nitpicks are my best go. Could you say the bullseye information is a bit expository? Sure, some could see that. I never saw it. I saw it as perfectly logical for Fisk. Episode, like, was it 7 had some flaws in it? Sure, still 9.6. Episode 8, yeah, almost perfect. Episode 9, one of the craziest episodes of any television show I've ever seen. A perfect 10 out of 10. Episode 10, an amazing backstory for one of our best characters in the entire series, Karen. I'm coughing because of how good this season. I can't even get my words out. Bullseye. You know, I think he was a truly spectacular character. He was so good in this season with Dex, and I loved him. Ray Nadeem is such a sad, tragic story of a character. But it's so good, too, because you love Ray Nadeem, because he's the GOAT. Fisk, if you took this season alone, I would say he's the best villain of any comic book show, hands down. Well, sure, he's amazing in Season 1. He's so good in Season 1, Born Again, too. And he's truly something else in Born Again Season 2. This, unmatched. Unmatched by any villain. Heath Ledger's Joker, Thanos, Green Goblin, High Evolutionary. If you want to throw Killmonger in there, like, Killgrave, any of them, I think, fall flat to Kingpin in Daredevil Season 3 because of how truly incredible this character is. It is in the writing of the show. It's impeccable. Like, I think every episode has a scene that gets you going. Like, oh my god, that was truly something. I mean, if I can think, Season 1, the line where it's like, what did he say? I'd rather live as the devil than die, I'd rather die as the devil than live as Matt Murdock. Episode 2, I'm drawing a blank. Episode 3, probably the scene where Fisk is telling him to take out Dex and go see him, and all the flashbacks and stuff like that. And oh my god, Dex mean Julie. And episode 4, do I need to explain the fact that the 11-minute one-shot, which may have been the greatest fight scene of anything I've ever seen. It is, I mean, when people say Daredevil is a revolutionary action, they aren't lying. I mean, sure, you may not feel it nowadays, but an 11-minute one-shot is something insane for any show to do. Like, I don't think I've ever, I mean, of course, like 1917, but I don't think I've ever seen a show do a 11-minute one-shot with the actual actor. He was only swapped out for a stunt actor very few times. With the actual actor for 11 minutes. Do you understand how hard that is? 11 minutes. Like, that's like a fourth of this video of Charlie Cox fighting with other dudes. That sounds weird. And like, that's insane. And to keep your intent, like, you all left the first 30 seconds, but I'm still here. And to keep someone's intent, oh my god, that was truly something. I don't think I've ever seen a fight scene as good as that, ever. Anyways, episode 5, the whole Bullseye backstory. Episode 6, the attack on the Bullseye. And episode 7, shoot, I'm drawing a blank. Maybe the scene where Ellison screams at Karen. To be fair, I'm probably forgetting a good lot. Upstairs, downstairs, Dex ricocheting the bullets, and other amazing scenes like that. Revelations, you gotta... Oh my god, upstairs, downstairs, I forgot. Maybe one of, like, top 10, top 5 scenes in the entire show, where Karen just goes up to Fisk and bloats about killing Wesley to get him to assault her, so he can be arrested for good. Whew, well, that was something else, man. Actually, that may be Deborah Ann Wool's best acting. Like, oh my god, that was... Whew. Episode 3, the reveal to Ray Nadeem that the FBI is taking over in its deepest seams. Shoot, episode 10, maybe Karen killing her brother. Number 11 of... Oh, wait, no, Karen, the scene where Dex and Matt get at it and they almost he almost kills Matt with Karen. I mean, there's a reason when people put the shot in those shorts, again, the Invincible versus Daredevil shorts, where it's like, comparing things, and then they get to the, like, writing dialogue, they show that scene of Karen holding Matt with the red light coming down. Oh my god, oh my god, the cinematography in this season, too. Okay, sorry. Episode 11, everything. Episode 10, probably Rain and Demon's Escape, but also just everything. It's a perfect episode. And episode 13, the I Beat You scene, is the greatest scene in any comic book show ever. I need to expect that? Any comic book show ever, it's a great scene. And maybe any comic book project ever, the I Beat You scene is the best. So, that's my personal opinion. Daredevil is one of the greatest things Marvel has ever produced. And Daredevil Season 3 is true perfection. So, yeah, there's my ranking and my ratings for each season. And hopefully you enjoyed this video.